Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree?
Yes.
You are knowing what you are wanting? Yes. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. There is nothing that is off limits. There is nothing that is inappropriate. Everything will be offered by you at the perfect unfolding in this co-creating at its best. So we've been talking to you about how you are more than this physical body. You are source energy. You were source energy before you came into this physical body. And even though you're focused in this personality, the larger part of you is still non-physical energy to which you have constant access. Non-physical consciousness to which you have constant access. Non-physical awareness to which you have constant awareness. In other words, as we talk about the physical you and the inner being you, sometimes it sort of splits you apart when it is our desire to blend you together. We want you to allow all that you are to be. So when you are in a moment, when you are particularly appreciating someone or something, in that appreciation, in that absence of resistance, you are allowing the fullness of who you are to focus. And that feeling of appreciation is your indication that you, all of you, are there having the moment. So when you start saying, oh, these bumps along the road that I'm feeling matter, when I feel negative emotion, it matters, it's an indication to me that I could focus myself into alignment if I cared about alignment. Do you? Do you care about alignment? Do you care about your clarity? Do you care about this moment in time being all that it can be? There have been many teachers that have been talking about being present in the moment. It was the thing that Jerry was most excited about as he was reading the Seth material. Two things. You create your own reality. He said, huh? How can that be? I create my own reality I want to know more about. So we spent many, many years talking about that. Your point of power is in the present, Seth said. Jerry wanted to know about that. What does that mean? And what it means is, here you are, right here and now, with the ability to focus. And when you do, one of two things is happening, and not much gray area in between, really. In your focus, you're focusing in a way that includes the whole of you, or you're focusing in a way that excludes. I thought you said that there was no exclusion in this universe. I thought you said that it was all about attraction. Well, it's all about choosing a frequency that will bring something to you. In other words, if you are including who you are, then you are leaving out who you aren't. And if you are including who you aren't, then you're leaving out who you are. In other words, you get to be the vibrational chooser of what you set as your vibrational tone, which then law of attraction responds to, which equals the life experience of this moment in time. If you are going through the day and you are fixated on things like fun or something like love is a little more heavy duty than fun, but you can accomplish it, some of you, quickly anyway. Appreciation is something that's quite easy to accomplish as you fixate on it. As you find these words, these emotions, and you set out with a determination to stir the feeling of them within you, what you're actually doing is using something that's easy to come by as your focal point in order to engender a vibration that then becomes, for now at least, a dominant part of your grid. So there's a grid about this and a grid about that and a grid about this, a grid regarding this person, a grid regarding this person. So we want you to picture this core grid within you. And we want you to think about other pieces that come in that go da-da-da-da-da-da, that just take you right in alignment, right to who you are. So that your point of attraction is so powerful that, as we said, heaven and earth are moved. Things and people around you are inspired to play with you in the vibrational patterning that you've established. But if you are doing sloppy grid work so that you're not deliberately causing a vibration that lines you up with your core, then what happens is whatever piled on last becomes the dominant one. Whatever piled upon last is the vibrational point of traction. Haven't you noticed it? Can you focus on anything that it doesn't fill in? Can you give your attention to anything wanted or unwanted that it doesn't begin to fill in right away with things that are a vibrational match to it? You can't. We know you can't because we know the power of law of attraction. But where your power is, you cannot control law of attraction's response to your vibration, because it's consistent and it's fair and it's vivid, it's crystal clear, and it's always accurate every single time. You can't control law of attraction. You can't say, time out. You can't say, I want to do over. Well, you can say, I want to do over, because you can set a different grid into motion every 17 seconds. But you can't say, I take that back. All you can do is no longer spew it again. So this is the process of bringing yourself into alignment with who you are. You're reaching for the thought of greatest alignment to which you have access right now. Another way of saying that is, you want to find the best feeling thought that you can find and practice it long enough that you learn the steady vibrational grid of that. So let's say you start with something really general, and it feels pretty good because you've stayed in a nice, safe, easy to feel good place. And you focus there, and then law of attraction brings you more things like it until something comes that challenges that belief. What happens to your emotion when something comes that challenges your belief? You feel those bumps on the side of the road. You feel some wariness. You feel some concern. You feel some doubt. You feel some guilt. You feel some self-criticism. You feel something that doesn't feel so good. So then what do? What would be the wise thing to do? Do you plow ahead? Do you dig in? Do you condemn your stupidity and make it happen anyway? Do you wrestle it to the ground? Do you try to make them behave even though they clearly have no intention of doing so? Or do you step back into the place as quickly as you can that felt good right before it didn't feel good? Doesn't that seem logical? Now, you could change the subject altogether and you'd feel a little better, but you have to remember you're leaving your grid on every subject right where you last left it. So every time you reintroduce the subject and you take it to a little better feeling place, what you do is you open to more specifics on that subject. And the more specifics you open to, the more powerful your creation. But even more than that, the more specifics you open to while you're in alignment, the more powerful and worthy and loved and blessed you feel. When you are feeling love towards someone or something, that feeling of love is your indication that in the absence of resistance caused by the clarity of your focus, that you are allowing the wholeness of who you are to be pointed and focused in that moment. And that love that you feel, that sometimes is overwhelming enough that tears stream down your face, it feels so good, is your indication that in that moment, the whole of you is focused, you see. When you see children squealing and running and feeling the fun of their world, exploring and wanting to participate in this and that and this and that and this and that, it is your view, it is your awareness, it is your opportunity to see source flowing through a physical being, unrestricted, untethered, unhindered by the troubling pieces of resistance that you pick up along your physical trail. So then you come here to play with us, and we remind you that you are more than you see, and you look around and you say, yes, surely that must be true. And then we explain to you that the source within you is within you, but not just within you. You. Right there. Clear thought. Clear motion. Clear impulse. And you say, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. And then you have a moment where your heart is so full that you think you can't contain it. Or your mind is so clear that you feel the brilliance of that which you are in the moment. Or your love is so great that you think you cannot find enough words to express it to whoever or whatever it is you're focused upon. It is those moments that you really know the depth and breadth and truth of what we are speaking here. Because words don't teach at all, do they? You have to have the life experience. And friends, you have to have the contrasting life experience. Because if you did not have a moment where you had pinched yourself off from the fullness and freshness of that love and insight and clarity and brilliance and infinite intelligence. If you did not have the opportunity to deprive yourself of it, you would not have the opportunity to know it when you were not depriving yourself of it. In other words, that focus is necessary in all things. Those moments are the moments when somehow, some way, you've managed to focus in a way where you've stopped doing that thing you do, which holds you back from all that you are. And that's sort of a screwy way of explaining it to you, isn't it? When you no longer do that thing you do, then you'll be able to do that thing you really want to do, that thing you were doing before you came into this physical body, that thing you were born to do, that thing you always want to do. You want to do that thing you do, but you've got to stop doing that thing you do in order to do that thing you do. And the thing that we want you to no longer do, which sounds backwards and not really Abraham-like, that thing we want you to no longer do is to stop doing that thing that you do, which is fussing and worrying about things that you can't do anything about. We want you to give up control of the uncontrollable. And we would like you to accept that everything is uncontrollable when you are talking about manifestation. Those manifestations are uncontrollable to you because they are controlled by law of attraction. So when you decide that you're going to control circumstances and events, when you decide you're going to control your government or control anyone, it's so nice when you start recognizing consciously the vibrational formation even before it is a manifestation. So now we want to talk about what is a manifestation. Is a manifestation a materialization? In other words, does the money have to show up? Does the person have to show up? Does the condition have to change? Does the work have to show up? What is the manifestation? And we want to get you to stretch just a little bit with us into the vibrational understanding. Because everything that you want, no matter what it is, whether it's a material object or a relationship or a bodily condition, a circumstance, an event, everything that you want without exception is because you want the feeling that you believe you will have, the good feeling that you believe that you will have in the having of that materialization. And we are not for a moment trying to talk you out of or guide you around or slow you down from your manifestations. This is a physical world you've come forth to manifest. This leading edge time-space reality where all of us are focused right here out on the leading edge with you is for manifestation. And we want you to know that because we can see the materialization of that which you are reaching for, when you tune to that which is us, you will be able to see it too. It's a fine line for so many of you because you say, I don't just want the essence of it. I want it. I just don't want the feeling of it. I want to have it so that I can have a feeling response to it. And we say, there's the rub for you right there. You want the manifestation or the materialization so that you can have a response to it. And we want you to figure out how to have the response to what we are already knowing, a response to what we are already seeing, a response to the reality that you've already created. And once you are having the feeling response to the vibrational version of it, the manifested, actualized version of it must appear to you. Because in this leading edge environment, that's the only difference, friends, between the leading edge and the not the leading edge. The leading edge is where stuff manifests. Do you get it? The leading edge is where stuff manifests. But you want the good stuff to manifest, which means you got to focus on the good stuff. And we want you to understand that the source within you and all who love you, and there are more than you can count and more than we can name, are focused with you out here in this leading edge moment, rooting for your modification of your vibration just enough that you will begin to feel. You will begin to feel the manifestation forming, and you will take satisfaction from it even before you're able to see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. That's really the key. Your emotions are all about feeling, aren't they? When you talk about emotions, aren't you talking about feelings? We are. When we talk about your emotions, we're talking about your feelings, you see. So that's one of the things that makes it really, really wonderful when you're able to rendezvous with someone like Abraham, or in Esther's case, someone like Jerry, who has reemerged into non-physical, who has only a pure positive grid going. When you hook up with someone like that, the dynamics of your experience become much more powerful. Does that make sense to you?